anyone who comes into MNN and produces a program and puts it on the air potentially has an audience of 3 to 4 million. I mean, it's pretty extraordinary when you think about it. I mean, we program 4 channels, 20 hours a day. It's all different programming. You know, I think that's over 900 hours a week of programming. And it's everything that you can imagine.
Maybe we can make this show, in a sense, a transmission of energy as well as a dialogue.
Everything went wrong, and the whole day long I feel so blue.
A good evasion, therefore, that deserves a point in Boy Genius's corner right there.
Wait a second. Oh, no, here's got him on his back.
You think 9/11 was an inside job? Would our government do such a thing? And why would they do it?
It's amazing. People have favorite shows. They tune in regularly. It's pretty interesting.
Well, the first most basic requirement for anyone who wants to use anything in this building is that you have to be a Manhattan resident.
It's not complicated, driver's license or utility bill.
So depending on what you want to use, you need to take the appropriate course for it. So if you want to use a studio, you need to take the Express Studio class, the Mini Express Studio, the large studio camera class, and or the control room classes, depending on which studios you want to use. Yeah, we use Final Cut Pro to edit, iMovie also. And we also have the linear editing systems up here for those, who aren't quite ready to go over to Final Cut or iMovie yet.
The quid pro quo is if in return for the training we want programming, which isn't a lot to ask, but people can't come here for training and then just leave. The point is they come here for training in order to produce programming for the channels. We also have programming that originate here, but they go out nationally. They work with Free Speech TV, for instance, or Link TV. Gay USA is produced here. They go out on Free Speech TV. Our downtown studio is used by Democracy Now!, which goes out daily, I think to about 200 or 300 access centers around the country. So they originate out of our shared studios and go out over satellite as well.
Right now we currently air about 20 hours of youth-produced programming a week. And we also do community screenings where we work with youth groups to talk about the issues that either they just produced or are interested in blending media into the work they do. Well, Youth Channel was founded in 2000 as part of a Open Society Institute grant that was really looking to develop the youth media field. It was actually an initiative of Manhattan Neighborhood Network that really created the Youth Channel. Our mission statement as an organization is to service residents 18 and older, but you've come to realize that it's just as equally important to provide a resource for the under 18-year-olds and even kind of that in-between age of, right out of college or the 18 to 25-year-olds. It was only a natural progression and an organic process that MNN really fostered Youth Channel and has really been an amazing support and has really helped us grow.
We'll be creating a new neighborhood facility in East Harlem, otherwise known as a barrio, and that's going to serve the eastern part of Manhattan, which is somewhat inaccessible to where we are now, here on West 59th Street. So we think this facility will draw certainly a lot of people out of that community, but around the surrounding communities as well.
Been like some bills, some things in Congress is happening around just basically adding more obstacles, and we've been fighting in different ways, so we let them know what the struggle is so they understand that this is something that's here, but we need to fight to keep it here. So that's why it's important to be involved and to make media and to show them that places like this need to exist, because it just offers a safe haven, people to come and express themselves freely without censorship.
I run a website called saveaccess.org, and I've written a few things lately. If we look at some of the state franchises that have passed, including in Texas, but also more recently in Ohio, Iowa, Arizona, there are some really bad bills that got through, and we're already seeing the impact. Even in Michigan, Grand Rapids, Michigan, one of the premier community media centers in the country, they're cutting back their hours because the Michigan state franchise is reducing their funding. In Texas, there's talk of some access centers shutting down entirely over the course of the next 2 years. That people are saying things like that in Ohio. you know, what the corporations who are multi-billion-dollar corporations who, you know, come into communities, make billions of dollars off of pumping 200 channels of crap into people's homes. You know, what is the public interest obligation of those corporations? Okay. In exchange for the access to the public right-of-way, they had to agree to set aside some part of their funding, some part of their gross revenue toward the city and toward the public educational and governmental channels.
You know, Manhattan is definitely a wealthier borough in different aspects, and so I think we're very aware of the fact that we have resources that a lot of other access stations may not have, and also, you know, try to find ways of taking that as a responsibility. And there's also, you know, we're still not digital, and I think that surprises a lot of folks.
We're one of the few access centers that will still run a VHS tape. We think it's important. But that's starting to wane. We're seeing the numbers go down, but we wanted it to be as affordable as possible. Probably in the next year we'll be transitioning to digital servers, so everything will be MPEG-2 based, and at that point we're working on a system where people can upload programming through the internet to our servers as opposed to dropping a tape off.
Just any public access center, I think the beauty of that is just that it gives people a chance to tell their stories through their voices and not through the voice of somebody else that, you know, a major mainstream corporation, you know, depicts you. Like, you don't have to take that message. You can completely make your own message and put it out there. That to me is unique in this by itself. Like, you know, you don't see too many venues for that anymore. And it's going to get worse, I'm sure, in the future as far as availability and as far as access goes.
I think we really wouldn't be able to be where we are if it wasn't for our partnerships, whether it's, you know, with schools or with individual producers and elected officials, but also with our fellow access stations and fellow media justice collaborators. And so that's how we can mutually grow our society to be much more indicative of what media justice could be.
I think right now we're doing a good job of defending ourselves. So that's why I'm very optimistic. You know, I think that everyone's pulling together to do a great job of fighting these bills. But you know, you never know what's going to happen. So
free speech, public communications, these are very precarious concepts in the psyche of of this country right now. And public access has always had something of an identity problem. All public educational and governmental. It's always had something of an identity problem nationwide. You know, in communities where it works well, it's well known and supported and accepted. In communities where, for whatever reason, it's not very active, it's not understood at all. So, so it's troubling. It's troubling. I'm not sure what will happen.